What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update where we're going to go through the last 24 hours of Tottenham news. Just a couple of bits and pieces to get through, but just before we get into that, do go and check out our brand new website, WeAreTottenhamTV.co.uk, where you get all the latest written content, everything surrounding Tottenham Hotspur. The link is in the description below. So go and click that link and check it out. Will be much appreciative. But let's get straight in to the Tottenham news, and starting off with the Manager of the Month award, as Ange Postecoglou has been named Manager of the Month for the second time in a row in his second month in charge of Tottenham Hotspur, for 4 wins and 1 draw, with the notable results coming with the draw at the Emirates and the win at home to Liverpool. And no manager had ever won both Manager of the Month awards in their first 2 months as a Premier League manager. So that's a massive, massive big up to Ange Postecoglou and the work that he has done here at Tottenham Hotspur at such an early stage, when you think about all the kind of mess that he had to deal with Harry Kane leaving, changing up the philosophy, bringing in players like Bissouma and Pape Matar and everyone else that kind of didn't really get a look in too much last season. So it's just a testament to the great work that Ange Postecoglou has done. And in terms of back-to-back Premier League Manager of the Month awards, he's in great company as well, because the likes of Jurgen Klopp, he won the first 2 Manager of the Month awards, and he was the last one that actually did it in the first 2 months of the season. And Liverpool went on to win the league that season. So he's in good company there. And the last person actually to win back-to-back Premier League Month of the awards was Pep Guardiola. He actually won it 3 times in a row. So unbelievable stuff there that Ange Postecoglou already is kind of in the bracket with these kind of managers so early on in his Spurs tenure. I cannot wait to see what else unfolds with Ange Postecoglou and Tottenham Hotspur. Can he win it for a 3rd month in a row at the end of this month? We'll have to wait and see. But that's the Manager of the Month award, and Spurs have made it 100% record in the first 2 months of the season. First month, we had Ange and James Maddison scooping up the Manager and Player of the Month awards. This month, we've got Ange scooping up the Manager of the Month award, and Heung-min Son has been named Premier League Player of the Month award for 6 goals in 5 games. And only 6 players now have won the Premier League Player of the Month award more times than Heung-min Son, and he's won it 4 times. And the ones that have won it more times than him are Sergio Aguero, Alan Shearer, Harry Kane, Steven Gerrard, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Robin van Persie. So it's massively deserved for Heung-min Son, with the amount of goals he scored, moving into the new role in his number 9 position, and he's taken to it like a duck to water, to be honest. He's been unbelievable, so clinical. Every chance that comes his way, you just know that is going in the back of the net. The first Spurs player ever to score 2 goals at the Emirates as well, which has got to be said. So unbelievable stuff from Sonny. It really is. And I can't believe I'm sitting here after the first 2 months of the season not knowing. I thought Spurs were going to take some hidings at the start of the season. I thought it might have been a slow start, because Ange has kind of notoriously made slow starts to his tenures before. Celtic, I think, it took a while for them to really get to grips with the way they wanted to play. And as well with his other jobs as well, they've been notoriously slow starters. So that just shows the amazing work that everyone is doing, and everyone is pulling in the same direction. The club has just flipped the complete 180 since Ange Postecoglou has joined, and you can see it. You can see it in the stadiums with the kind of atmosphere from the fans. You can see it with the togetherness of the team, and you can see it with the way we're playing our football as well. And that is all testament to the great work that Ange Postecoglou is doing. And Heung-min Son is leading by example as captain as well. We've never seen such a togetherness in the squad since probably Pochettino was the manager. And I've said it many a time now. I don't think I've seen a captain with such leadership credentials as Heung-min Son. So it's like kind of the small things that he's doing to really make that connection, build that connection again between the fans and the playing staff, like for the likes of, bringing the huddle closer to the away end in that first game against Brentford, in that away game against Arsenal as well. Just the small things like that just make such a difference, and him bringing the players over after every game to thank the fans after all the away games and home games as well. They're doing the lap of honours and showing their appreciation to the fans. So I can't speak speak highly enough as Heung-min Son as a captain, as a number 9, and I can't speak highly enough as Ange Postecoglou as a manager as well. So congratulations to them two to scooping up the awards this month. But let's now move on and talk about some transfer tidbits, starting with Eric Dier. Daniel Longo, journalist, says that on the advice of Jose Mourinho, Roma are considering signing Eric Dier, which is an interesting one, really, because you're looking at Eric Dier and Jose when they were at Spurs, and he always spoke highly of Eric Dier. I think he held Eric Dier in really high regard, and he even went as far to say, I think him and Conte both said this, that Eric Dier could be one of the top centre-backs in world football. I think Spurs fans kind of always took that tongue in cheek, to be honest, but maybe Eric Dier's best kind of spell as a Spurs player at centre-back was under Jose Mourinho in that period. So I think it would be an interesting move for Dier. I think it would be a good move for him to go to a place where he's really appreciated. And I think the Italian league might suit him as well. So I think he can actually kickstart his career again, going to Italy and going to Roma and going to play for Jose Mourinho in a system where I wouldn't say he flourished, but I would say that, you saw some good moments in there from Eric Dier and good run of form there. So I would be completely behind this transfer if it could happen. I think it's about time that Eric Dier does move on, but always the same case. We need to bring in a replacement if he is to go. I was very kind of up. I was annoyed that when Davidson went, we didn't bring in a replacement before. I know he left after the transfer window finished, so I think it was a bit silly of us to let him go without us bringing in a replacement. And if we're going to let Eric Dier go in January, that just reinforces the need to bring in a centre-back or two in January. But like I said, I think he's overstayed his welcome, Eric Dier. I would like to thank him for the service that he has given the club over the many years that he has been here. He's always worn his heart on his sleeve and always given 100%. But I just think that we've moved on from that kind of quality now, and you're seeing the likes of Van der Ven and Cuti Romero in the centre-back pairing right now, and we need to keep at that level. And I think Eric Dier probably does need to move on at this stage of time, and I don't think it's any secret. I think we've spoken about it so many times now. So that's an interesting one. And last but not least, we're going to talk about Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg, as Rahman Osman says that Juventus are preparing a bid for Tottenham midfielder Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg. Again, this is an interesting story. I think that Pierre has had his worth this season, coming off of the bench and providing values with us, trying to hold out games. And I think he's come on with a good attitude, and I think he's really helped the team in certain times in hard periods of games as well, in the latter stages of games. But you got to look at it from the perspective of Pierre. Last season, he was very central to what Spurs were trying to do. He was one of the vice captains, firmly in the leadership group. And his kind of role in the squad has diminished since Ange Postecoglou has come here. He's not part of the leadership group anymore. He's not a certain starter anymore. And I wouldn't begrudge him of wanting to move away from Tottenham. But from a solely kind of selfish point of view, and from a Tottenham perspective, I would probably like to see him stay until the end of the season, because I think he's doing a good job in the team. But I can completely understand why he would want to move, and why the likes of a team like Juventus would be interested in his services, because he's a very good football player. I do think that with the midfielders that we have at the moment, he's where he is in the pecking order is correct for what he shows on a football pitch and maybe the technical ability that he does have. But he's a player that's always going to give 100%, and he's a player that is always available as well. And that kind of goes underestimated at times. So I'd like to see Pierre probably stay until the end of the season and maybe find a transfer for him then. But if he is desperate to get first team football in January and look for a move with the likes of Juventus coming in for him, I can completely understand why. So that is the transfer news for today. That is your Tottenham update. Ange Postecoglou and Heung-min Son picking up the Premier League awards with Manager of the Month and Player of the Month, which follows on from Ange picking up the Manager of the Month award in the first month of the season, and James Maddison picking up the Player of the Month award. So that's a 100% record in the Premier League awards this month. And Eric Dier and Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg potentially could be leaving the club in January. So let me know your thoughts surrounding that. Go and check out our website, WeAreTottenhamTV.co.uk, in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.